What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 78 of Tuck Rule Takes, the Bruce Armstrong episode, throwing it way back. I mean, I'm sure people listening don't even know who he is. I hardly know because I wasn't watching at that time. But
isn't that like when you graduated high school or something back then?
No, I graduated high school in 2010. Not
Okay.
2010. Did I? Was that high school? Fuck. Yeah, it was high school, wasn't it? No,
Damn, you're
it
fucking old.
was. No, was it? I don't. Anyway,
I
with
figure.
me, as always, Liam's here. I'm Mike. Al is no longer with us. We kicked him
We
off the
fired him.
podcast. Just too many level-headed takes. Too many. Too much. Too little Patriot honkness. We were like, you know
He
what?
actually thought about the things he wanted to say. It was outrageous.
Who the fuck? What? Just because you're a teacher, you act like you're better than us? You use your mind?
That.
Fuck out of here.
Gone.
No, just kidding. Al is gone for this week. He will be back next week. I think he just had to take a break from us, to be honest. He had some excuse.
It's a sanity check.
I don't believe it. But yeah, he'll be back next week. Next week will be our big draft episode. We didn't want to do that without Al. So I figured I would Liam came up with a great suggestion today that we would look back to our episode 41 when we reviewed the Patriots draft last season, kind of gave our quick ceilings, floors, big bust, biggest, whatever. And we went from there, and we were right about some things. We were wrong about some things. There's some things we still don't know. But before we jump into that, just a quick little off the top. I sent a picture of this to our little group chat before. Damien Harris, who is now a Buffalo Bill, was pictured. I think it was coming into Buffalo Bill Stadium, whatever the fuck their stadium's called. And he was wearing a free at last hat. And Jacoby Myers commented free at last, or just a smile or laughing emoji. I forget what it was. Al's not here to keep our heads on straight about this. So just kind of right off the bat,
fucking nuts.
Get the fuck out of here, Damien Harris, if that's how you feel. If that is what that hat was representing. Yes, that's what I'm operating.
It could mean something else, but I take it to mean slander at the Patriots. And if that's the case, fuck you. How about that? Absolutely preposterous. He's all smiles now that he's on the Bills, and I said it in the group chat. He was all smiles sitting courtside in the finals when the Celtics played the Warriors, when he was with Meek Mill, Robert Kraft, and Jonathan Jones. Oh, free at last. You were at the fucking finals last year. Suck one.
Free at last. Like, listen, it's not so like ridiculous. It's not like you're, even if Malcolm Butler wanted to tweet that or wear something like that after the Eagles Super Bowl, what? I'll sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You got benched.
Free at last, dude. You were the starting running back until injuries
fucked you up. 17 touchdowns 2 years ago. Deep breath. You were pretty fucking free.
What are we doing free at last? And then Jacoby Myers, listen, I don't think I got my hatred out enough about Jacoby Myers when he tweeted the whole tough world, whatever, this really whatever. But shut the fuck up. What are these youngins that leave the Patriots and they're like, oh my God, free at last. We're on the Bills. We're on the fucking
immaturity.
Raiders.
They're scorned in their eyes. They had such a terrible time in such a grueling, overbearing organization. Get fucked.
God forbid you got drafted by, or in Jacoby Myers' case, he was undrafted, but God forbid you got on the greatest team in the history of sports for the last 20 fucking years. God forbid that your name got out there. Because guess what? If you got drafted by the fucking Browns or I don't know, the Texans or the Lions or some shit, your name, nobody would know who you are. You wouldn't be getting a big contract. And by the way, Damien Harris, what was your contract for? 1 year for like $5, I think, if I remember correctly.
Pretty sure the Patriots offered him more than that.
Dude, what the fuck? I'm just sick of these players. Like Isaiah Wynn too tweeted some of that same type of shit.
Well, he can be as free as he wants. He's so free. He's not going to get another contract. That's how free he is. He's free to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Good on you, bud. You said it correctly, Miss Scorned lovers. That's how these people come across.
It's just dramatic. It's like, okay, come on now.
Free at last. God, 12 years a slave. Didn't someone tweet that? Didn't OBJ or someone said something like that when they left the team?
God, I fucking hope not.
God, it's just free. It's so dumb. So, and the thing, I love Damien Harris was my guy.
You liked him a lot more than I did. Now
he was my boy. You were if we had to draw a line, you were a Ramondre guy. I was a Damien Harris guy. Yeah. But now
drew a line in the sand.
Get the line in the sand is you're on the Bills now, dude. I don't like you at all.
And now we're both riding with Ramondre. It's the Stevenson train all the way.
Oh my God. And now we have another Harris to replace you, Kevin Harris. So get the fuck
hopefully
out
not a lesbian.
God, get out of here. So anyway, that was really it. Just kind of wanted to get my gripe out on that. Nothing else really to jump into. So I unless you got anything else to add real quick, I figured we get right into what we said about the draft and all that stuff.
Let's throw it back, baby.
All right, cool.
37 episodes ago. That's pretty fucking crazy.
That is a lot. Yeah.
A long time ago.
37. Yeah, looking at them. God, yeah, I had facial hair then, and that was a wild time.
You gotta get that shit back. You look like a child trying to hide your old peopleness.
I'm gonna get that stuff you rub on your face where like you wake up with hair the next day. It will just
monkey growth hormones.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Deer antler spray, like Ray Lewis.
Deer antler, yeah.
All right. So first pick was Cole Strange, obviously. I still think that is hilarious.
We should explain the format here. So we in our last episode we did floor and ceiling. We can use either player comparisons or describe what we think their floor and their ceiling would be. So we're gonna go look at what we said before and compare it to if we think it's the same now.
Yes, exactly. So first one, Cole Strange, polarizing pick, very polarizing. I don't think it's as crazy now. I think people have kind of come to terms with what it was. Now I think what I said about him, I said his floor, he would be a bad Trent Brown. So when Trent Brown went to the Raiders and kind of sucked in everything before he came back and he was, good, or a poor man.
And then he became bad again.
And then he became bad. Yeah. So recent Trent Brown, or a poor man's Ted Karras. And I said his ceiling is David Andrews and he'd become a New England fan favorite. I think, do you want to say what yours were or do you have your floor ceiling ready or do you want me to kind of just give?
Yeah, I mean, mine's along the same sense. I said for his ceiling would be something like Logan Mankins, like a generational, a great guard for years to come that we eventually trade for a backup tight end years down the line or something of the sort.
Yep.
And his floor would just be a mediocre starter, like any of the Bengals offensive linemen the year they went to the Super Bowl. Like, they'll do fine, but it's not exactly what you want on the offensive line. And looking at the year he had, I kind of lean more toward the floor. I think I was right on basically both these fronts, and I kind of agree with what I said. I probably wouldn't change anything after seeing him in his first year. I still think he's got the potential, but he could also just be mediocre. He's not bad, but you and me shared some clips all year of some of the great stuff he did, but then toward the end, we would acknowledge, like, damn, he really fucking sucked this game.
Yeah, I think for when I said his ceiling is David Andrews, and I hold David Andrews to a very high regard.
I was going to say,
I don't think he's quite there, but I do think when I said that he would be a New England favorite, I think that he has kind of slowly gotten into that, some of it's just like how hard he plays and everything, but
he's got the number for it.
Yeah. He's got the number for it. People love that number 69. Yep. Hey,
I never understood why, but yep.
But I don't know. We have to Google it. It's just, I think, and it sucks to say, and I don't even think it's a bad thing because I still think that he will end up being a very good starter. But I do kind of tend to agree with you that, I think he leans closer to my floor, which was a poor man's Ted Karras, which is kind of your
which
guy
Ted Karras isn't a groundbreaking offensive lineman either. So a poor man's Ted Karras would be like we're not fucked if we have him.
Yeah, and I think I almost want to chalk that up to like the offense. Maybe he just wasn't spotlighted correctly when you did hear his name. It was because of the times he was messing up, because they were so important, because the margin for error wasn't great for the Patriots. So I don't, maybe that's why I'm still holding my stock on Cole Strange, though. I'm not selling it.
I agree.
I'm not going to buy any more. I'm going to take it and see what happens this season. But yeah, I'm not selling my stock on him.
I feel like a lot of extra pressure too because he's a first round pick and he's a guard. So if that's the case, especially from a no name school like University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, you expect like an Orlando Pace or Jonathan Ogden with a first round lineman. Granted, he wasn't a top pick like either one of those guys. But the fact that he wasn't flawless coming out the gate probably gets a lot of people fired up. So, like you said, holding on to the stock, proceeding with caution.
Yeah, I agree. So I think that we kind of nailed Cole Strange, where you know, like the potential's there, but then there's also potential for him not to suck. I don't think he will ever suck. I think
both of us said we don't think he's going to be shitty. He's no Isaiah Wynn, and he'll never be Isaiah Wynn.
God, no. He already is better than Isaiah Wynn. He won't. He just will be an average, just plug-in guy. You're good, but I do, like we said, I do still think the potential's there. So that's good. Hopefully that pans out for him.
I say we did pretty fucking okay with that one.
Yeah, I think we did. Now the next one, Tyquan Thornton, my guy, who, spoiler alert, I picked him to be, you know, the highest potential draft pick of the bunch. We'll talk afterwards how that went. But my floor for him was that he would be cut after the season. So, I mean, obviously that didn't happen. So I spot on there. And then the ceiling was Deshaun Jackson. And I remember listening, and I did say Deshaun Jackson, including the injury history.
Yes.
So he's kind of on track with the injury stuff.
I don't know. I mean, we're talking, as I said in the previous episode, the one that we're throwing back to, Deshaun Jackson is Jesus Christ in my eyes. He can do no wrong, could part the Red Sea, walk on water, whatever biblical analogy you want to use. Deshaun can do that and so much more. And now he's starting his own weed company. What can't the man do, basically? But I certainly wouldn't put him at that high a praise. I don't think he's that dynamic. Deshaun Jackson, his rookie year, phenomenal. He also has the most breakaway touchdowns of anyone ever. So to say Tyquan Thornton is going to be that, I would change that ceiling looking back on it.
Swing and a miss. I think if I were to adjust that ceiling, I don't even know what I'd put it to. I'd put just a, God, I don't, not anywhere near Deshaun Jackson. That's what I would put. Now, who knows? Maybe he has a big breakout year, fully healthy. I don't know, but I will hand up. I swing and a miss on that one.
After year one, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, no, swing and a miss.
I said for his ceiling would be like a lesser Brandon Cooks. And what I mean by that is in Brandon Cook's first year, he had 700 receiving yards and I think 3 touchdowns or something like that. He was in the Saints offense. Drew Brees was throwing to him. You would have expected him to have more than that. I was kind of expecting similar production from Thornton. I thought we would have a much better passing attack than we did this year. So obviously, I think everyone did. We were all fooled with that one, me especially, I guess.
Got the rug pulled out from under us there.
Hard. And even worse for Patricia. He fell when the rug got pulled out from under him. But I think I'm in the right ballpark. I'm in the area there where it's like he could still be something. He could be a regular starter. He can give you 700 yards each year if put in the right situation. Am I changing that? I don't think it's going to happen with the Patriots. If it does, especially since we seem to be in the market for a receiver, it very well could not happen, and maybe he'll have 1,000 yards next year and surprise me. But I would change it. Maybe not even use Brandon Cooks just because he's so good. What is it, 1,000 yards in almost every season that he's healthy besides his first year?
Yeah, like all but like 2 years he's had 1,000 yards. Crazy.
Which is why I said a lesser. So I guess I'll keep that ceiling. I won't change that particularly. The potential is there. And then my floor was he rarely plays, but he stays in New England for the rest of his contract. If we kept N'Keal Harry, like I said in the last episode, that was
Mhm.
my thing. We kept N'Keal Harry for the whole fucking time and then traded him for his last year. Why wouldn't we hang on to this guy for his whole contract? His floor to me is he rarely plays, but he's a splash play guy. So he'll occasionally get a deep ball, he'll occasionally get an end around, he'll get a screen in space, stuff like that. He'll get a wheel. When a flood concept's going to the right side, they'll swing a wheel to the left and get it to him. I still believe will be used in those splash plays every once in a while,
Yeah.
but that's my floor for him. He'll definitely get used. He had
Mhm.
2 touchdowns against the Browns. He
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
bad.
He was quick. He was showing
Yep.
how quick he was too. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, had a back shoulder against the Dolphins, if I remember correctly, where Mac put a nice ball on him there, but the injuries hit him at the end of preseason. He had some
Yep.
injuries during the season as well and kinda got buried on the depth chart when we tried to get Kendrick Bourne involved. I don't know. Were you disappointed by his year?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I definitely was. I mean, all, injury stuff aside, as you know, I'm pretty sure it's well documented. Tyquan Thornton is my guy.
Yep.
I'm still holding out hope, but and it sucks to say because I don't. One thing that I think we tout here on Tuck Rule Takes is that we speak our truth, regardless of if it contradicts stuff that we've said in the past.
Yeah.
So
Opinions change.
I'm gonna be straight up, Liam. I think he's leaning closer to your floor, where he just sticks around, doesn't do too much. He maybe fills in because of some injuries, things like that. And, he'll have a couple good games, like the Browns game. I think, like you said, he had one against
Yep.
Miami, I believe. But I just think he stays here. After this, maybe gets shipped off to like the Commanders or some shit and just kind of it fizzles out, which
Yeah.
I hate to say it because, like I said, I just feel like small risk be damned. I feel like there is just potential here, but especially with you have a healthy Devontae Parker, hopefully Juju. Regardless of how you feel about Juju, he's going to be getting targets.
Hopefully
You have
not.
Kendrick Bourne that's still around. You got Mike Gesicki who's going to take over some spots too. Like it's like you said, the Patriots are, I guess, looking wide receiver in the first round, possibly, maybe second, depending on what happens. So where does Tyquan Thornton fit in all that?
Yeah.
Are you telling me, is he going to start over Kendrick Bourne? Okay, I'll take it. But
Yep.
who is he going to? He's not going to take passes away from Devontae Parker. He's not going to be taking passes away from Juju. He's not going to be taking passes away
If
from.
we take a wide receiver with 14, you like to think
Exactly
he
what
gets
I'm
the
saying.
priority there
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Granted,
He's not
Parker
from Zay
misses time.
Flowers.
He has a chance because Parker misses time. He always
Exactly.
does. He did last year. He will next year.
Yep. Yeah. Now, if Parker misses time and say let's just, for namesake, say the Patriots draft Zay Flowers,
Yep.
he's still a rookie. So even though you're going to have him in there, like, Parker misses a little bit of time. Maybe Juju gets nicked up a game here and there. Mike Gesicki might go down for a couple games. Like, this is a big year. I know everybody's talking about this being a big year for many players coming into the Patriots season, but it's a big year for Tyquan Thornton, I think. Like, is he going to take that next step, or is he going to kind of, go the way of an Aaron Dobson, a Kembrell Tompkins, where it's like, they have a couple big plays, big games, but then they just kind of fizzle out and you're like, damn, like, remember what could have been, or like a Malcolm Mitchell, a little bit to a lesser extent because he got injuries and things happen. But like, I don't know. I don't want it to happen, but I will say it now. I think he's leaning closer to your floor and like the worst part of your floor, like not even any big games. Like,
he's fighting an uphill battle. Like, he's got to separate himself. It's not a spectacular bunch, but there are plenty in his spot and a potential first round rookie coming in, or crazier things. We could get a number one receiver from another team. I'm not counting on that, but
he's
got to separate himself from exactly, and I have to. But I leave the door open, I guess. He has to separate himself from that bunch, and it's like, can he do it? Yes. Will he? I don't know if I'd bet on it, but
I wouldn't. The issue, and we'll get off because this is far too much talk about Tyquan Thornton. But I think his main issue is him and Kendrick Bourne are very similar. very
Yeah.
similar in their quick, like how they play, where they'd be slotted on the field. So I think he's going to have to beat out Kendrick Bourne. And then from there, it's just you have to show up when you're put in the offense. And if you do that, obviously you're going to get more targets. So I don't know. We'll see. I think I even said it when they drafted him. Hopefully him and Mac can kind of get some sort of wavelength going. And
they just didn't have the splash plays last year. His 2 touchdowns against the Brown, an end around, which was cool, but it was for like 15 yards. And then his touchdown in that game was like a slant pass for like 10 yards. Like, I don't remember any big rip-off plays from him except for one down the sideline against Miami as well. But other than that, I was expecting, a 70-yard catch, like a 50-yard catch.
Something.
And there's really only one that comes to mind with me, and that's only because I poured over film for our Instagram page a little while ago. It's not even that memorable of a play because we lost that game.
Yeah. So no real memorable things for Tyquan Thornton. So
no.
But memorable things for our next guy here.
This was fun.
This was Marcus Jones. Yep. Marcus bleeping Jones. So my floor was Ellis Hobbs, and not even so much of a bad way. Just a guy you plug out there, nothing too crazy, nothing memorable, just kind of is what he was. That was my floor. Ceiling, he would be a solid starting corner. Like, you don't have to ever worry about him. And he would be Dante Hall as a kick returner.
Very high praise,
buddy. I think I'm pretty fucking close there. Your floor and your ceiling. What did you give him?
So, I gotta say, I think I fucking nailed the ceiling. Much you like did. You seems like you agree.
You did more so than I did a little bit. Yeah.
In fact, I didn't realize at the time how much I nailed the ceiling. I said Patrick Peterson. They used him on offense. He returned punts, had a game-winning punt return in his rookie year, much like Marcus Jones.
When I was watching this over, I literally said, "You motherfucker," as I was watching it. When you said Patrick Peterson,
I didn't even remember.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
I nailed it. And then I said, obviously, Patrick Peterson was a generational corner who held down the Cardinals for years.
Mm-hmm.
I think I fucking crushed it. Like, obviously, they're different players. He's shorter than Patrick Peterson is, but the ability is still there. He scored our only touchdown against the Bills in that first game. Like, he is that guy. Had a pick 6 on Joe Burrow, walk-off punt return.
The Jets game. The Jets won. Yep. That's what people forget that because of how shitty it was. That punt return. Oh my God. He was responsible for arguably the most exciting, memorable play.
I would say that's the most memorable play easily. Yeah.
Yeah. God,
I think I fucking nailed that. And then my floor, which I am completely changing now, he has a much higher floor than what I set him as. Cyrus Jones was my floor. And, like, very disrespectful. I owe him.
That is an insult. That's an insult.
It is.
Yeah, that's almost to formal apology level insult. Like Cyrus Jones.
It is. I realize it. Downright rude of me. But, I mean, think about it. Cyrus Jones came in. He tried returning punts. He sucked. He couldn't cover anyone. But it all looked good. They drafted him. I was like, cool. Alabama, big school. He can do a bunch of things. I'm excited.
Yep.
Nothing. So now I'm looking back on it. I'm changing his floor entirely to who's like a springy. Do you remember Javier Arenas, Gilbert Arenas' cousin?
Yes.
He was corner for the Chiefs.
Yep.
I loved him. I would say his floor is even something like that, where he's a solid starter for a couple of years. He has some dynamic plays, but he doesn't make a huge impact for the most part over the span of a career. I'd say that's his floor now, where he's going to be a starter for years to come, certainly for us. And now he's a weapon on offense as well. He's solidified himself. He's going to be on the team. My floor has changed entirely. My ceiling stays the exact same.
Yeah, I think you nailed this one. I got my ceiling right in the terms of me saying that he'd be a dynamic returner. Dante Hall, I mean, like, come on. But I mean, I could if he keeps going, he could get there if he keeps going. But I think
unfortunately, special teams just doesn't have the special teams used to be far more important than it is now. I think, unfortunately.
No, it's not. There's only a few teams who, like, it really does make a difference, and he is one of those difference makers. So I think that I was a little bit too off base. You nailed his ceiling.
You're in the ballpark, though.
I think his floor. I mean, his floor is, like you said, you got to raise his floor now. Is just at the very least, he is just a starter. You don't he's in. You don't take him out ever. It's never like who's gonna be, the number one, number two corner. It's like, no, who's gonna be on the other side with Marcus Jones, or who's gonna be out there with Marcus Jones. So yeah, I think you nailed that one. And I'm excited to see what happens with him next year. I do still think, and I believe you said it a few weeks ago, I am still hoping, or I want to see what the Patriots do with him on offense. I don't want his defense or his return game to suffer because of his play on offense, but I also think that he adds that little juice on offense. So I think you have like 5 or 6 plays that you kind of have in the tuck ready for him. Don't break it out all the time. There might be some weeks you don't even need
every
to.
couple of games. 100%. It certainly doesn't have to be a frequent thing. And Patrick Peterson wasn't used a ton on offense. I don't think he ever scored an offensive touchdown, come to think of it. I know
Marcus Jones has.
Yeah, Marcus Jones tied Deion Sanders with the only player for a punt return, offensive touchdown, and a defensive touchdown, which is phenomenal. But so he's in that company. Obviously, he's no prime time, but he's around the Patrick Peterson. Does more on offense than Patrick Peterson, I guess. But obviously, he's not as good of a corner yet as Patrick Peterson was. He was a better corner coming in, and obviously, we haven't seen the rest of Marcus Jones's career. But I would imagine he's just a tick below Patrick Peterson for his career. I would say I think he's going to be a stud.
Yeah. I think we both have very, very high hopes for Marcus Jones. So
absolutely.
Speaking of Jones, the 4th Jones on the Patriots right now, if you include offense and defense, Jack Jones, Panda Jack, our boy, got suspended from the team for a little bit, came back. Everything's good to go. My floor would be he would be cut before the season, next season, whichever season.
Very ambitious.
I was kind of close. He got suspended for a second. So
no. there is still it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world because of his off the field issues and how he's already been suspended. I don't think the off the field issues are a huge problem. The suspension raises an eyebrow. Crazier things have happened. He could get cut before next season if he does something stupid.
He could.
So it is possible.
The off the field issues were definitely overblown. I mean, it's Panda Express. Calm down.
Seriously.
But that my ceiling, which I think I kind of fucking nailed his ceiling. His ceiling would be a Malcolm Butler type guy where he jumps routes. Sometimes he gets burned on a couple plays because he is trying to jump the route, but when he jumps the routes, he'll get some picks. He'll get some pick sixes. And I think I hit the fucking nail on the head with that one. So.
Certainly the year after Malcolm Butler had that Super Bowl, he was, I don't want to say a great corner. He was a very solid, maybe above average starter.
Yeah, very
good. He was our number one. I had a lot of faith in Malcolm Butler, and I have a lot of faith in Panda Jack. He sold me. 1 pick 6 off Aaron Rodgers. I love the guy dearly. Next week he gets another interception. I'm like, oh my God, then I'm sold. And obviously he didn't do a whole lot after that. His tackling was a little questionable, but I love him.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the type of guy he's going to be, where it's you take the good with the bad, where it's he's not going to be a lockdown corner, but he's going to be that guy that makes plays. Sometimes plays get made against him, but he's going to be the type of guy that makes plays. So I do still think, actually, no, I'll let you.
So you're not changing anything?
No. I think I'm sticking with it. Because I do still think that the range of what could happen with him, like you said, he could get cut. Or he could be just a solid playmaking guy. So I don't.
It's always terrible to do a range like that where it's he could be either terrible or he could be good. It's obviously that what else would he be if he's not terrible or good? But this dude literally has such a far spectrum that it could be literally either one.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, it could be anything. So I think we will see what happens with him. But your floor and ceiling, and then I have a question about him and another player before we move on to the next guy. So what did you give?
Totally. My floor, it almost sounds like an insult because I fucking hate the guy that I compared him to as a floor, but it was in the right idea, I guess. And I said Kyle Arrington. Starter, I hated Kyle Arrington, but he got some interceptions. He stuck around for a couple of years. He wasn't atrocious, but he certainly wasn't good. He drove me crazy more times than he made me happy. But in quotes, I put serviceable starter for years, and we both agree that is on his spectrum. I think he's more likely than not going to be a serviceable starter for years. In his ceiling, I said Ellis Hobbs, a downright number 2 corner, 4
Mhm.
Super Bowl teams.
Yeah,
So,
you
it's like,
actually said too. You said he showed no superstarness. That's what you said, word for
yeah,
word. So,
yeah.
and you know what?
Which
I think I would tend to agree. He makes some
I
plays.
don't
That's it.
know. Yeah, he made
He
plays. I
he
don't
makes
even know if I
plays.
disagree though. I think he could like to pick off Aaron Rodgers is not easy. Aaron Rodgers, obviously
Mhm.
this year he had a bad year, but in the past like 5 years, he's thrown like the most interceptions in a season was like probably 5 in
Yeah,
one
yeah,
season.
yeah,
He
yeah. He
rarely
was
throws
throwing like 3 or 4
interceptions.
every year. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. He
So
was
for
he was
him to
killing it.
get one off Aaron Rodgers, like you got to earn that shit. And it was a
Mhm.
great play, a hustle play, came back to the ball on a curl route
Yep.
and brought it back to the house. Completely changed the momentum of that game, almost gave us a win. I think he could be a star. Like I think he could if he comes in and just like downright balls out. Dude's got great ball hawking skills. He'll
Mhm.
never be like the tackle corner. He's no
No.
Stephon Gilmore where he'll be an all around great corner. But I'm trying to think like Trayvon Diggs, I guess, except not a huge asshole. Like he'll go for the
Yeah.
ball. He'll get a lot of splash plays. Trayvon Diggs is loosely considered a star, but he's not tackling anyone and he's giving up a lot of plays.
Yeah.
So
No.
I think of
He.
him as a safer Trayvon Diggs. He could be a star. I
Yeah.
wouldn't assume. I wouldn't go out of my way with conviction to say he will be, but he could.
I think that I'm gonna take what you said. I think that's what he will be, a safer Trayvon Diggs. I think
Yeah,
that's what it'll be, where he'll make tackles if he does get beat or whatever. He will still give up some plays because he is trying to get the ball, whatever. But
yeah.
yeah, I think a safer Trayvon Diggs is the way to go with him. Between Jack Jones and Marcus Jones on the spot, who do you think has a better Patriots career?
Going into the season, I was going to say I was leaning more towards Jack or Marcus Jones. Then the season started, and from basically week 1 onward, I liked Jack Jones. And then obviously Marcus Jones fell heavily into favor with his great play. If on the spot, if I got to pick one, obviously I kind of got to go with Marcus Jones here. He was a big baller. He was
Yeah.
just all around the better player. But I think Jack Jones has like starting corner could be a star potential. And Marcus Jones, I really see him as like a great nickel corner and
Mhm.
awesome like athlete. Marcus Jones is a great athlete. Jack Jones would be the better corner. So I'm gonna have to go with Marcus Jones, but it's begrudging. It's I know you asked for a quick answer. It's not a quick answer today.
That's quick. That was like under 2 minutes. And I think I don't have much more to say because I think just judging, taking everything into play, and I do think that Jack Jones, something about this, like that weird little suspension issue, I think something's going to come into play with it. So I'm going to say Marcus Jones for a little bit of a different reason, because I think that Jack Jones's favor with the team he's slowly going to fall out of favor with the team. That's what I think. And I
Yes.
don't want it to happen, but since I put us on the spot, we have to give answers. I think I would not be surprised if that happens. In fact, I'll even say I think that's what's going to happen. So
Okay.
either way, though, still both good picks, which I think we both kind of were thinking, one of them is going to hit, the other one might not. They both have hit so far. So,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
Marcus and Jack
Great
Jones.
picks either way. I love
Yeah.
the fact that the Patriots got him.
Yep. Yep. Great picks. Next one, Pierre Strong.
Yep.
Kind of the two running backs are kind of tough to judge because they haven't played too much. But let me see here. My floor was he would be cut in his second year. I don't think that's going to happen, especially with Damien Harris. Being let free going to Buffalo.
Yep.
So
He is free.
he is free at last. So yeah, I don't think that will happen. My ceiling was Lawrence Maroney.
High
I'm
praise.
I'm gonna sit tight on my ceiling because I just think we haven't seen enough yet. I think
Yeah.
maybe after this year I'll be in a better position to answer that question, to kind of really gauge where he is. But no, I think I'm gonna say that I still feel it, because with Ramondre Stevenson kind of out, he might, or not out, being the starting guy, you're going to need to spell him a little bit more. So I think we're going to see more of the two running backs that were drafted in this draft class. So I'm gonna keep my ceiling, and it's crazy, but I think I'm going to keep my floor too. I think he might still get cut at some point. So
Yeah.
I'm all over the place on him, all over the place on Mr. Pierre Strong. So
Yeah, like you said, it's a tough one to judge. I said his ceiling was an 8-year pro. You know,
Mhm.
Carr's had a solid career, even if it's not with the Patriots. I think he hangs around the league for a while. He's got some speed. He can catch the ball. His floor, I said, 2 years as a Patriot, then fizzles out of the league with no real role and never really gets a shot with us. But with him, like, I can see him getting like the classic red shirt year that
Mm.
Damien Harris had, where this year he didn't play a whole lot, and next year he's our Danny Woodhead, are obviously not the same caliber, but James White role, where
Yeah.
he's the
Yeah.
receiving back, third down, change of pace back, where they hand it up the middle when they have all four receivers on the field. They're just trying to get them in space. That is his ceiling for me, but his floor, I could totally see him fizzling out and just never getting the opportunity either. With the Patriots, it's so tough.
Yeah. I mean, especially with running backs. Yeah, like you never know. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he could come in and be great one game, and then you kind of ride the hot hand, and then Ramondre Stevenson turns into Damian Harris, where
Yep.
he loses his job to, or his starting job to Pierre Strong. I don't know.
And Ramondre Stevenson's a weird one because when we drafted him, there wasn't
Mhm.
much high expectations. Like, cool, we got another running back. But then the second he touched the field in the preseason, you're like, oh, this is the next guy.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know if we'll see that performance from Pierre Strong, but I feel like when we see it, we'll know it because, like you said, we saw it with Ramondre Stevenson. So I don't know. But I want one of these running backs to pan out. But I think that your ceiling, see, it's tough to say because like you got to see what happens this year. But I'm gonna say your ceiling might be his most likely thing where he's like a solid 8-year player for a few different teams, something like that. I'm sure he'll go to like the Jets and have a huge game against the Patriots or some shit like that because
Yeah,
everybody does.
that's usually
But
how it goes.
yeah.
And, and I don't exactly think I'd change anything because, like you said, like how we were rumored to get Bijan Robinson or be looking at some of the top running
Mhm.
backs in this upcoming draft. Whether that's true or not, where there's smoke, there's fire. If they're already looking at running backs, there's a chance he just gets phased out next year and gets cut.
Oh,
So I'm not changing anything entirely. But hell, like you said, I could see him being a running back for the Jets in a rotation somewhere, or like with the Commanders, or
mhm.
even the Rams. They got Sonny Michelle. I could see him in Sonny
Yeah.
Michelle
Yeah,
after the Patriots type role. Yeah,
they always grab like running back. They kind of plug running backs in for like a couple of years and then kind
yeah,
of move on to the next one. So
like
yeah,
Todd Gurley.
I could see Todd Gurley. Yeah, I could see that too. So I think Pierre Strong is kind of one of those ones where you have to wait and see, which I think
Yeah,
the majority of the next few guys are going to be one of those wait and see kind of ones because it's like
yeah,
you didn't really see him play too much.
no.
Like
And it was a
gotta see
bad
what
year for
happens.
everyone, so it's you take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah. So who it? God, I don't even. I hate. I hate.
Here's the fun part.
I hate like bringing up his name.
Yep.
Because like I just don't. I don't ever want to hear Bailey Zappe ever again
Yeah.
in by a commentator, by an ESPN fucking
Yep.
guy, by anybody. I don't want to hear it.
Runs chills up my spine. I fucking hate
God,
it.
I hate it. So my floor for him, I said he would be a perennial backup, who will eventually be a starter for the Browns. And he'll have like one big game or some shit like that.
Yep.
The ceiling, I said he'd be a 1 year, really, really good starter for another team. He'll have one good year, then he'll kind of shit the bed on it. What'd you say for your floor and ceiling? Then we'll.
My floor was like a gadget guy, like because he's athletic and he showed it this past year. Like not a Taysom Hill esque, but he'll be used for something type
Mhm.
deal. And we both kind of agreed toward the end of my spiel about him, like a practice squad QB. Like I didn't imagine he would amount to much of anything. Yeah, like I told you, his stadium that he played in college, one of the walls of the stadium was also a CVS on the other side. So it's like he didn't come from a big school. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from him. And then my ceiling was Damon Heward. So like a career backup
Damon
who, like
Heward, I remember
like
that.
you
Yep.
said, he'll start for a couple teams and it won't be good. If he's starting, you're probably fucked and you're looking at a top pick. I think we were both
Damon
pretty
Heward.
wrong on this one though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we both I I didn't even want to talk about him like when we
Yeah.
first did this, because it was like,
I was like, fuck me.
like what are we gonna try to say? Like, you had the Damien Heward comment, which was like, okay, yeah, that's a funny one. That's a good thing to kind of talk
Yeah.
about with it. But God, who knew
Yeah.
that
I
the
mean, we were talking
fucking
about, we were like, Brian Hoyer's going to be here for a long time. He probably won't even see the field. Brian Hoyer didn't see the field, and now he's
very
gone.
wrong.
We
Very
completely
wrong.
missed on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like Bailey Zappe's the undisputed backup, and some terrible fucking analysts are trying to say that he's going
God.
to be fighting for a starting job, which is preposterous. None of us would have thought that he would be starting a game this past year, though.
No. And I think that's where we were very off base. We did not put any stock in him having
No.
any meaningful snaps for the Patriots. And
And
come to
we
find out, he
considered
did.
the fact, yeah, we considered the fact that Mac would get hurt, and we were like, Brian Hoyer's got it. Like we've seen for the last 2 years when Cam Newton got COVID against the Chiefs, Brian Hoyer started. Like we're like, all right, Brian Hoyer will play. Didn't play at all, and apparently he's pissed at the organization or some dumb shit that they say like that. And Bailey Zappi starts. We completely fucked that one up.
Yeah, no, we messed that up. And I think the legend of Bailey Zappi was born last
Yep.
last season. And it just, now he's basically there's a QB competition. He might beat out Mac in the off season, like all this shit. I don't, in our wildest dreams, I don't think we
No.
would have said, do you think, Liam, next season after we drafted him, if I were to say, Liam, do you think next year people will be talking about Bailey Zappi potentially beating out Mac Jones because he came in and performed good against shitty teams? Or do you think that the Foxborough crowd would be chanting Bailey Zappi when Mac Jones is on the field?
I would have laughed in your face. I would have been like, what
God.
shrooms are you on? I want some of those. Now, looking back on it, let's agree on a floor and a ceiling here because we were both entirely wrong. What is his ceiling now that he has started a couple games for us?
You're gonna make me say it. And I think his ceiling with the Patriots
Yeah.
is that I don't even want to like put it out there, but I have to.
Yeah.
I think his ceiling is that he takes over for Mac mid-season and it ends with a winning record with him being the starting
Yeah.
quarterback. I think that's
exactly what I'm thinking too. That is like if
I
the
hate it.
planets align and everything goes right for him, if he fulfills his max potential, I wouldn't even say next year. I would say we give Mac the entirety. Obviously, if he gets hurt, that's a different story. But not next year, but the season after, I can see him as the full-time starter just because the fans want it. And, maybe he gets in for a bit and shows some flashes next season, but people are already enamored. If everything goes right, and we're talking ceiling here, the fourth round pick from some no-name fucking school could be our starting quarterback. And I don't want to shit on him because he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great.
I hate it. I hate
Yeah?
that it's a potential
Who would have
thing.
thought?
No one see, and I don't think anybody did. I feel like you take Bailey Zappi, it's like, all right, yeah, that's a cool guy. He'll help in practice, when you're practicing going against like a mobile
Yep.
quarterback.
Yeah.
Nope. We're talking fucking potential starter for the New England Patriots. I don't think anybody thought that. Floor, what would you say his floor would be?
Now his floor is the next Matt Castle, Brian Hoyer, where he's a backup for us for years and comes in when he needs to and plays pretty well. But either way, I think after just one season, he's carved out. At very least, he's going to have a 5-year career now, just because of what he did last season, just because he showed a bit of hope during a completely washed season, basically. I think now he's the undisputed backup for us. There's no other chance that anyone's our backup next season anyway, and I don't
No.
see for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think his floor is he will take the Matt Castle route where he'll be the backup for the next however many years, and then he'll get like a 3-year deal, maybe like a 2-year type deal somewhere else, and he'll get a chance to compete for a starting quarterback role for the Raiders or something like that. I could see that because fucking I'm sure
Yeah.
McDaniels is going to want to bring over more Patriots players, so I could see. In fact, I'll even
Easy.
put it out there. I think that's the team he'll go
Probably.
to.
Yeah.
Which
It's so wild for us to say after we drafted him that he's probably going to be a practice squad QB. At most, he'll be a backup for another team. And now looking back on it, our ceiling for him is potential starter for us.
we
Football's wild,
missed.
man.
Yeah, no, we missed on Bailey Zappi, and that is it. We will
did. Yeah,
not
please.
talk about him anymore
Ever
because
again.
I don't want to, and neither do you. So, and Al isn't here to stop us, so we are not bringing up
Yep.
Bailey Zappi again
Fuck you,
because
Al.
Al, known Mac Jones hater, he probably would love
Yeah.
Bailey Zappi.
I'm
So,
sure he's listening to this with a smile.
next, the second running back the Patriots took, Kevin Harris. My floor for him, he would be a lesser man's Danny Woodhead because him coming out, it was, he could kind of catch out of the backfield, do all that fun stuff, and also run if he had to. Also fast as fuck, I think, too. If I remember correctly. And
Not
then
as fast as Pierre, but he's up there.
yeah, the ceiling for him, which I don't know what I was thinking. It must have been on like a Carlos Hyde trip, but I said Carlos Hyde was his ceiling. I love
I'm
Carlos
not
Hyde.
getting that
So
one.
I'm
do
not.
too. I think he's a monster.
So I just right off the bat, I missed with that. I don't
So
think
what would you
that
change?
I would obviously change the ceiling from Carlos. I would put, oh God, you know what I would do? I would put his ceiling would be a step below Danny Woodhead. So I'd kind of move his floor to his ceiling and say I think that's what he would be, where he wouldn't be as integral. How the fuck you say
integral.
crucial? Yeah, integral
Yeah.
to the offense as Danny Woodhead was, but I think that he would assume a pseudo Danny Woodhead, James White type role, something like that. And then I think the floor for him, I'm going to kind of move with Pierre Strong because I don't know if the Patriots are going to draft a running back, what they're going to do. I think he could get cut next offseason. I think that could be what ends up happening with it.
Yeah, I could totally see him getting phased out too. My ceiling for him was a rotation back for his career with the Patriots anyway. Like I don't even want to give him like he wouldn't be as good as Shane Vereen. Like he won't be a Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. I mean, he was the main back, but like one of the guys in rotation. Unfortunately, and don't get wet over this statement. He reminds me of like a Cyrus Jones, I guess, where instead of one big game, he has like a couple great moments. He gets a couple carries here and there, but instead of the one big game, you split that production up over a couple years, I guess. So he would be like a loose rotation there, and then the floor. I said injuries end his career early. I still stand by that. So I would say even my ceiling is lowered for him a little bit. I don't think he's going to be much of anything with the Patriots. I can totally see him getting cut next season. So I guess I loosely define stand by my ceiling and my floor, but I don't know. With him, it's so tough to judge because
Yeah.
I have more faith in Pierre Strong than I do him. And even with Pierre, I'm like, he could be gone.
Yeah, I don't feel strongly enough about either one of the running backs.
Don't feel
I
strongly
think
about
see
Strong.
that? Yeah, no, I don't. So I think those two are kind of your wait and see. We're gonna see who takes over, who leapfrogs over who going into the season. And with Damien Harris gone, there's a void there that's going to need to be filled. It's going to be by one of these guys because I don't see the Patriots drafting any running back that's going to, really rival Ramondre Stevenson, for carries. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If you had to pick between these two, Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris, you're kind of leaning towards Pierre Strong, right?
Yeah.
That's what you mentioned.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they both
Yeah.
were basically our starting backs against the Cardinals, and I liked what I saw from Pierre Strong more.
He was fast.
Even though
He was fast.
yeah,
You saw his speed on that like one play. Yeah.
But they use Kevin Harris more as a receiving back. It seems all mixed up to me because I would do kind of the opposite. But I have more faith in Strong.
Yeah, I mean, just to be different, I'm going to say Kevin Harris because I want to see a passing back. The Patriots are going to need one, so I'll go him. Next guy, These next ones are just we can kind of rifle through them because they fucking had no impact at all. Sam Roberts, who exactly? No offense to Sam Roberts, by the way. Like, I'm short, great guy. You're in the
Probably
NFL,
stellar
but
dude.
if we're being honest, you played 5 games. You had two combined tackles all year.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, what are we doing here? My ceiling was the Ted Karras of the defensive tackles. So just a very good plug and play guy. I was off with that.
Way off.
Floor
You
gets
gave
injured.
way too much stock to a late round pick there.
I said floor was he gets injured, he doesn't play, and he gets cut. I'm gonna say my floor is gonna end up happening. I think he's gonna be just a cut thing. Someone else is gonna pick him up, put him on their practice squad. He might get some playing time somewhere else. Unfortunately, I don't think Sam Roberts sticks with the Patriots, but my ceiling, I'm not even there is no ceiling. I think it's just the floor.
Yeah.
It's just the floor with him. Yeah.
I said his ceiling would be a special team star and a field goal blocker. Kind of like he would take over as the Matthew Slater leader of special teams.
Yeah, when I heard you say Matthew Slater, I was like, oh, we were
wrong.
we were off very much with him. Yeah, he is the Matthew Slater of nothing.
The Matthew Slater of absolutely nothing. I got nothing on that one. That's a tough comparison for me. So obviously I'm changing his ceiling too. Yeah, I don't even think he can be a special team star. I think he could contribute on special teams for us and a team to come down the line.
To be determined.
I don't think he's going to be noticeable. He's going to be like every other special teamer. Like, we have Brandon Schooler now, who seems more like the next Matthew Slater, and even then, comparing him with Matthew Slater now sounds really weird. So I think he could be a special teams player. Just one of the guys. Just one of the guys.
Somewhere he could be one of the guys. He will definitely be an NFL player for a team. I think that is his ceiling. And again, there is no disrespect whatsoever because you are in the NFL, sir. You have already made more money than I probably will ever have at one point in time. So good for you. You're a better athlete than I am. You are a better everything, but just your ceiling is an NFL player. That's I think what the ceiling is. So.
Yep, he will play in the NFL or has. My floor was he doesn't last 2 years. I still stand by that. I think he is actually more likely to get cut, be one of the cuts next season. I think it's extremely possible.
Yeah, I could see that too. So the next guy, Chasen Hines. Yep. I actually wanted to look up real quick. Chasen Hines.
Sounds like a verb, like I'm out there chasing Hines.
Chasen Hines, ladies and gentlemen. He is a New England Patriot still. He played no games last year. I forgot he was put on the non-injury whatever list.
The we don't need him list.
Basically what it was. I think for this one, we kind of left it in there. I had an interesting ceiling for him. He is the questionable leftovers in the fridge that you eat. Yeah. And you say, I don't really know if I should eat this. I said something about you scrape the mold off of it and you eat it. And then I had a more sensical take, and I said he has one good game. Yeah. I don't think, and then I think my floor was, and we both kind of agreed, I believe. I said that he wouldn't make the team. I think the floor is probably going to be where it is. He'll get cut eventually. I just don't see him making any impact at all. Again, no offense to him, but I just don't see anything happening with Chasen Hines.
Yeah, it sounds like something the guys would say when they're going out to a bar to pick up chicks. Like, let's go Chasen Hines.
Oh my God, it does. Yeah, what are you doing tonight? Just Chasen Hines.
Yeah,
I got you.
Dude's name is a verb, but I gotta say, My ceiling is certainly going to cause some controversy now. Did you happen to catch what my ceiling was for him
Let's see,
when
what
you
was your
rewatched?
ceiling? No, see, I wrote down your ceiling for almost for every other one. No, what did you say? What did you say? Because with
Wow,
this one, I was
it's
fast forwarding a little bit because I was
it's
like, I don't think we see
interesting
anything.
that you didn't catch what my ceiling is for this one because I was wrong. I will firmly admit that I was wrong.
Okay,
I
I like it.
I,
Take accountability. What'd you say?
I said he would be Mike Onwenu.
The disrespect. Even
Yeah,
then, I should have seen it. I should have seen it then. The
yeah,
disrespect you have for Mikey O. Oh
yeah.
my
I
God,
know, I know.
sir.
In fact, I think I first compared him to Win, and then said no, Win's too good.
Oh, yeah,
Compared,
no,
I really,
God forbid
yeah,
the
I really,
superstar.
I really
Oh,
fucked myself up on that one. So yeah, my ceiling for him was solid starter or Mike Onwenu.
oh my God.
So yeah,
Oh, what
I
that
overestimated the
you
disrespect.
that was wrong. And so there was
Yeah, yeah, I'm wrong
so
for that
much
one.
was wrong with he might be in a solid starter, not Isaiah Wynn. We're not gonna put him in Isaiah
No,
Wynn's
no, certainly
category.
not. No, but
We're
he'll
gonna
be Mike
he's gonna
Onwenu.
float around the Mike Onwenu
What a
area. Okay,
fucking
yeah, no,
idiot.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I know. So
God.
obviously, I'm changing that ceiling.
Oh.
Probably to Isaiah Wynn. Yes, it would probably be
Oh, how the
right.
turntables.
Yeah,
Like actually, now that I
seriously.
think about it,
Uh,
I think he'll follow Isaiah Wynn's path a little bit.
I think free at last. Yeah, yeah, so now my ceiling for him is a starter, not even like a good one. Like I think he starts. Like I think he starts like a couple of games if
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
lucky
A
type deal.
starter
Like
as in he has started at least
yes,
one game before. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like if I could think of one irrelevant Patriots lineman, I would choose him. But yeah, so and then my floor was doesn't make the team his second year, which
Yeah,
I
which
still think is very possible as we both
there's still a chance. I think he
discussed.
might be one of
Wow.
those ones that just slowly gets released cut once the team has to kind of get down to 53 when they got to do like the big roster cut
Yeah, at the end.
before the year. Yeah, I think that
They'll get him.
he is going to be what yeah, they're going to
He'll
get
be
him. They're going to, chase his hind out of here.
yeah, I was gonna say he'll be back on the street chasing Hines.
I can't believe you did that. All
Yeah,
right.
wow.
Next guy or last guy.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Best
Now
for last.
I think I looked right past this one, but Andrew Stueber. What was your ceiling and floor? Because I missed this one in the rewatch. So
Yeah.
what did you have for that?
I had solid starter. Like I had him like starting like, more than half the season being like a decent starter, mostly because of like emergency.
Mm,
But I had him as a solid starter one day. I like his build. I like his
mm.
on paper he seems like he would be good, but obviously did he play any games this year? I didn't even.
I just looked. Nope, he played
No, that's what I thought.
him and our boy Chasen Hines played zero
Didn't play.
games.
So yeah, and then my floor again was didn't doesn't make the team a second year. We kind of grouped them both together, so
Yep.
I had the same floor for both of them. But yeah, that's now I would change it. His ceiling would be a backup if he's lucky, I guess, type
Poor
deal.
man
Probably
Isaiah
probably
Wynn.
for both of them. Yeah, poor man's Isaiah Wynn
Yep.
because obviously that's a phenomenal player right there.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And again, I don't think that these guys are going to have any sort of impact, especially with how the Patriots signed like three kind of plug and play linemen this offseason so
Yeah.
far. I don't think either one of these guys get any
No.
playing
Yeah,
time. I think
Calvin
they're
Anderson,
both
Riley
cut.
Reeve, these guys they're basically
Yeah.
those two just took their spots.
Yeah, no, I don't think either one of them get any playing time. I think they get cut, and then that's kind of it for them. So, that was who we had in the draft. We were right with some, very wrong with some.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I was just a little off with some. I don't think I was ever flat out wrong, but
I
fuck.
still can't believe Chasen Hines.
I
Yeah, he could be, maybe Mike Onwenu, something like that. Nothing
certainly know
crazy.
Isaiah Wynn, but
Yeah,
he's
no,
around the
no.
mic on Wynn.
Whoa, buddy, let's stop bringing
Literally,
up
like if
fucking.
I could have like manufactured a take that would be completely wrong,
That
it
would
would
be
have been
it.
that one.
That
That
would
would
be it.
be That is text. It's so funny looking at things in retrospective and being like, wow,
God,
you thought that.
how off you were. Oh my goodness.
But much like Bailey Zappi,
Oh
we were
yeah,
just
yeah, we
wrong.
were.
Like, you can't predict some of this stuff.
We did not see the Bailey Zappi story
Yeah.
coming at
I mean,
all.
so many
Not
things.
at
Like,
all.
we certainly couldn't have predicted Trent Brown being fucking awful. Like,
Nope.
he was our
He was
anchor.
the guy.
Like,
He was the
yeah,
savior.
we're like, we know he's fine. Let's worry about the rest of the offensive line. And then the season starts, and you're like, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
even the
And
areas
then
we
and
thought we
then
were
the
safe
season
were
starts
fucked.
and you're like, Trent, hey, buddy,
What the fuck is this?
Like, you were the chosen one. What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
You got like
Oh my
fucking God,
god.
like we're sitting there looking like, wait, is that someone did him and Wynn switch jerseys or something?
Yeah.
Is that Andrew Stueber out there? Like, what is
Didn't
going
think
on?
he could stack
Jesus.
shit that high.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was interesting. We had, was it the most successful pick? I, to the surprise of nobody, I picked Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah.
I mean, the easy answer now is to say that's not right and to go with like one of the Joneses or whatever. But you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna think he leapfrogs Kendrick Bourne. I think Kendrick Bourne is one of the surprising cuts that happens.
Okay.
And I think,
So, are you still sticking with that he's going to be the surprise of this draft?
I think he will be the surprise, especially now, because I don't think anyone is expecting anything from him. So I think that he's going to have a big year. I think he'll have, I don't know. I think he'll have like 600 yards. If you want, we'll put a number on it. I think he'll have 650, 4 touchdowns. I think that'll be a solid year. That'll be a solid year. Who did you have for the most successful, surprising, whatever guy?
I didn't get this far, actually. I forgot we even did this.
Surprising. No, not surprising. Luckily, I had it down for you. You,
my man,
nail, meathead. You had Marcus Jones.
Fuck yeah, I did.
You had Marcus Jones.
Hell yeah.
We
That's
both
awesome.
said that. We both said Cole Strange is the easier answer.
Yes.
And we went with Marcus Jones. So that was, or you went with Marcus Jones. So that was good.
And then,
lastly, we had potential bust. I said Cole Strange.
Okay.
And you said Tyquan Thornton.
Ooh, I think I might be onto something. I'm not. They're obviously way worse.
I wouldn't say the B word yet, but I think out of the players, from, because I don't know if you can count the running backs. You can't count the last 2 picks. Yeah. I think you might be right. You might be right. We're so far. Yeah. He might be the bust.
For me, it's between him and Jack Jones, and I think I have more confidence in Jack Jones going forward than I do Tyquan Thornton. So I guess by default, I was right, which I will take. I'll take a victory in any form.
Yep. Yeah. Are you going to? Are you gonna keep your bust there with Tyquan Thornton? You still think he's going to be the one?
Yeah, I would say so. Like I said, I definitely think, not sure, that I have more confidence in Jack Jones going forward. Of course, he could screw up royally and get cut, but I just think he has more ability. He has more opportunity. Tyquan Thornton, like I said, he's fighting an uphill battle. I definitely he's got tiny wrists. I mean, what can I say about the guy? He can't do anything.
Can't play football with those childlike wrists. I'm gonna change my biggest bust or biggest and bust is just the word you're using. However, whatever term you want to put out there.
No. None of these guys are really a bust.
No, and I'm switching it to Jack Jones because after the year he had in his first year, I think if he ends up not having that much playing time and gets cut, I think he will be considered a bust in terms of what his potential was. So I'm gonna roll with Jack Jones on that one.
Hell, as crazy as it sounds, because I said he could be a star, I could even see Jack Jones starting for like 13, 14 games and just not being very good. Like an interception if he's lucky and not many pass breakups, giving up more touchdowns than he does stopping him. I can totally see him just like falling apart as well. As much as I don't think it's going to happen, I could see it.
Yeah, but you can see the world where that hahappens. And I guess I could, and like I said, I gotta switch it to him. I'm like I said, I'm keeping my Tyquan Thornton stock in there. I don't think
Bold.
you need to change yours. Marcus Jones was
Yep.
the pick of the draft. So I
Layup.
think
Yep.
you
Nailed that.
you nailed that one. So yeah, I think moral of the story is you should listen to our draft episode next week, because it seems like we know what we're talking about pretty much
Yep.
for the most part. Save for some crazy takes there.
Yep.
I still don't
For
really know where I
things
was
that
going.
nobody could have predicted. Who the fuck would have thought? Like, come on, you got to give us a break on that one.
Bailey Zappe. So yeah, we will next week we'll be Al will be back with us. We'll ask him why he decided to leave us for the week, the real reason why he decided to leave.
Him.
And then we'll have our draft breakdown episode. The draft is the 27th, so it's Thursday of next week. So yeah, it'll be big. I know you and I have both already started our draft research. I know Al has too. He pays more attention, I think, to
he's
like
our
the college
residential draft expert.
Yeah. Our residential draft expert. We'll have him on next week. So big episode. We'll break everything down. I don't think we'll do mock drafts. I think we'll just kind of who you think is gonna go weird. Just kind of a general conversation about everything. So, because mock drafts, they tend to get a little stale if we do a back and forth. So we'll just kind of throw out ideas. And Liam, do you have anything else to say before we leave?
Nostradamus of football right here. You tune into your boy.
Bailey
Marcus
fucking
Jones.
Zappe.
I'm riding the Marcus Jones train to the bank.
You should,
and
you should. I think everybody should.
His.
He is the pick of the draft. So yeah, Marcus Jones. So for Liam, I'm Mike. No Al. He left. Fuck him. This was Tuck Rule Takes episode 79. We are out.
Sweet feet.
Sweet feet.